killed U.S. troops?
Well, it would be a good reason. I'll be honest with you. If they killed U.S. troops, I think I would do that very quickly. Yeah, that's a very interesting question.
There you go. Anyway, let's bring in Marc Thiessen, Fox News contributor, our hero on the war. Marc Thiessen, thank you for coming on. You know, this war powers thing, I mean, we're all beaten up on it. It's a really stupid thing. But I'm not a lawyer, so I love playing numbers games, okay? I'm a numbers guy. And the days of, you have 60 days before you have to report out to Congress, but the bombing was 37 days, and the ceasefire is 57 days. He's got 20 days in the bank. Actually, the whole thing should be amended and redone. They've gone off in the wrong direction now. I know it's unpatriotic, and I know they're interfering with the commander-in-chief, and I know he's going to veto it if it ever passes the Senate. But I'm just saying, the argument, I think Pete Hegseth used this argument, or maybe the president did. It doesn't even qualify, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, so every president has said that since the War Powers Act was passed, has said, one, it's unconstitutional, and two, they basically complied with the reporting requirements of it. And so that's what Donald Trump has done. You're absolutely right. The combat operations lasted 39 days. It doesn't even come close to the requirements of the War Powers Act. And if he resumed combat operations, that would be a new operation that starts the clock ticking again. So this is just an exercise in political gamesmanship and showmanship.
He'll veto it. He has to veto it. I don't think anybody takes it seriously.
Of course.
And we actually haven't had a war declaration since World War II, as I'm sure you know. But let me ask you about a couple other things. I mean, I know you follow the war so carefully. So the president said at one point, I think it was yesterday, Mark, he said, we might have a deal by the weekend. Now, he's made comments like this throwaway. Do you think that's possible? Are we that close?
Well, we're not that close to a final deal. He's talking about a deal to have a deal, to negotiate a deal, right? So a couple of things, Larry. First of all, let's just start at the beginning and say that the decision for Donald Trump to launch Operation Epic Fury was the most courageous decision any president has made in my lifetime. There have been 7 presidents since 1979, the Iranian Revolution, and for those 7 presidencies, they have been at war with us, but only Donald Trump went to war back with them. Right? There have been 4 presidents who said that Iran can't get a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump's the only one who actually did something about it. And all those people are saying like, oh, well, the Democrat line is, well, he tore up the Obama nuclear deal, then he launched a war, and now he's going to get the Obama nuclear deal. Put aside the deal for a second. 13,500 strikes, U.S. strikes, 8,000 Israeli strikes. 82% of their defense industrial base destroyed, their entire navy at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, their air force completely grounded, their ballistic missiles destroyed. If Donald Trump gets a deal that's nothing like the JCPOA, because we did long-term damage to the Iranian regime and its ability to build nuclear weapons. By the way, its nuclear program, because of Midnight Hammer, completely buried to the point that the Iranians say they can't give us the dust because we have to come get it because they can't reach it. Okay, so that's the ground that we're standing on right now. The question going forward, Larry, is one, is a good deal possible, and two, is a good deal a good idea? So is a good deal possible? Right now, the Iranians are calculating that Donald Trump doesn't want to go to war again in the advance of the midterm elections because he's worried about $8 gas when Americans go to vote. And so they are calculating that they just need to drag this out as long as they can and get us as close to the midterms so that they make it less and less likely that Donald Trump, because what they fear is that he will go to war again. If let's say they play that out, he could always do it after the midterms. I mean, there's no time limit on Donald Trump in doing what he wants to do. He's a very patient man. But the second problem is, let's say he gets the perfect deal. Let's say it's like the Libya deal, where they give us the nuclear dust, we send U.S. aircraft into Iran, we dig it up, put it on a plane, take it to Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Let's say we get that. Let's say we get the Abraham Accords even out of it, right? That would be a great deal in a lot of ways. What is Iran expecting in return? They're expecting sanctions relief, they're expecting frozen assets, and there's been news reports floating a $300 billion reconstruction fund.
Oh, no.
They would just comply with that deal for a couple of years while Donald Trump is in office, and as soon as Gavin Newsom or AOC or any weak Democrat like Biden comes in, they'll start cheating on it, and meanwhile, we will have given them the financial means to rebuild and restore their regime, and they'll be back at it again.
No money. No money. You know that's
Amen.
How important that is. That look, Scott Bessent is doing the Lord's work. He's freezing their money, seizing their offshore bank accounts, Their economy is a shambles. You know that. We can't bail them out with
Absolutely.
money. That would be a huge mistake.
I agree with you 1,000%, but that's the deal. If we want all the things that Donald Trump wants to get in terms of getting the nuclear program, in terms of getting everything that he's demanding, they're going to want money in return. And what the administration is saying, no money up front. I think the position should be no money ever, because we should not give a lifeline to this regime, because what it means is all of the damage that Donald Trump has done, all the progress he made, is temporary and reversible. Well, we need to make it permanent and irreversible.
That's right. Jack Keane always says, unless and until they change their behavior over a period of time, no money. And I think that's, trust but verify. Anyway, I'm with you, buddy. Marc Thiessen, thank you. We appreciate it very, very much. Take care.